Vayikra, the third book. It was not called Vayikra, it was called Kohanim, the laws of the priest. This is the book that shows how the eternal loving concern for all Israel, Israel's safety, Israel's health, and how the Most High showed us our moral purity. The people of Israel, as we read in our Haftorah portion, how they did everything against the Most High God. This book shows us what sacrifice is all about. Today, we don't do sacrifices, but we still can understand what fellowship. You know, sometimes we miss what the Torah is saying. It has 5 different sacrifices. Burnt offering. It has a fellowship offering. It has a peace offering. And all of us should think about how to make peace with one another. Not just with, your neighbors. Look at the people around you. Sometimes we offend each other and don't realize that we offend each other. Yes, we're not making no animal sacrifices. Not at all. Why? Because the Kohen, how about those, is not in existence. The sacrificial corn is not in existence. Also in this book of Vayikra, the Most High gives us our health aspects. What I mean by that, he told us what we should and should not eat. He also, in this book of Vayikra, he shows us that not only on the Shabbat we rest, but we should have 7 years, because we were at worrying people. And being a worrying people, we farm all the time. We let the earth rest as well. However, within that 7 years, if I loaned Moshe $1,200, and I lent him $1,200, and he said he was going to give it back to me in a month, a year passed, 2 years passed, all the way up to 6 years, he still hasn't given me strange that he cannot pay me back. You see, that's why the Most High God gave us the Torah. That's why it said the children were learning from Vayikra first, because it showed them morality. It also showed them the Shabbat, how to let the body rest, how to let the land rest, and the Creator also showed us what it meant to love one another. You know, we can always look at the bad things that the individual do. But with this portion, you know, I found Vayikra in another side, everything that we do. A word is never just a word. A word like Vayikra, it's just a small word. We never think about it. We never ever think about it because it's a small word. Just as a word, prosy, which means a dull word. Vayikra, we never think about that. But in this week's portion, which is in the middle of our Torah, and he called. Who did the Most High call? He called Moshe. And it says, at the same time, in the Sephirah Talmud Midrash, Vayikra, the rabbis was puzzled by the problem presented by the first verse. It should have read, the Lord called to Moses, and he spoke to him. It does not. It reads like this. And he called to Moshe. And then he spoke from the tent of meeting. What happened? There was a pause in between there. And in that pause, it says that Moshe had time to think. Because when the Most High said, Vayikra, he spoke. And the Sephirah is a very simple formula. At the burning bush, we saw in Shalom, where it says that, and he spoke to Moses. We can go to Shalom, Exodus 3 and 4 and 5. Exodus 3rd chapter, verse 4 and verse 5. You'll read where it says, he called Vayikra to Moshe. We also see in Shalom 19, 20, and 21, where it says, Vayikra, and he called to Moses once again. He said, go down. The Sephirah comes to the conclusion that despite the fact that the burning bush is a unique aspect of what the Most High said to Moses, and it depicts that the fact that Sinai is unique because all Israel is present at the same time. When the Most High God spoke to Israel at Sinai, there was a call. He called Israel again. And at that call, when God spoke to Moses, something began, like Vayikra, the verb, to invent, to summon. Now when he came in, he invited Moshe to come. He said, Moshe. Furthermore, the sense of the invitation and the summons is heightened as a Sephirah note. When a person is invited with Vayikra in order to hear the speech of God, he is named twice. Accurately as it is said. It says Moshe, Moshe. We see in Genesis 22:11, where he spoke to Abraham. He said, Abraham, Abraham. He said, Vayikra, Vayikra to Abraham. See, just don't think that it's a small thing when the Most High called. Look at every one of us. He used that same thing with yours. He called you to return back to your culture. And as you return back to your culture, by name. That call is an endearment of love. Haba, which means endearment. And it is an expression of urgency that one is invited or begged. It is an important, a very important aspect when the Most High God calls. God speaks to those whom he has summoned and invites for a task that is very important. We can see today with our teachers, they didn't just all of a sudden become teachers. We all had to go through a process when we first walked through the doors. None of us knew it in Hebrew. None of us knew it in Torah. But when the Creator called us, Vayikra, listen to him. And he called. That's why when we look at how the Creator moved in every aspect, it says Vayikra, the verb by which all creation is brought into being. As God called the light. We go to Genesis 1 and 5. What did it say? It says, Vayikra, he said, call the light. Then he used the same word that we read here. The same word. He called the light into being. In use when there is something unknown that must be defined and given purpose. And when Adam responded to Eve, what did he say? He said, Yikra. And he called her Hava. The same three-letter word. This goes back. This just doesn't start here. We have to go all the way back to Genesis. How Vayikra played a part in every aspect of creation, and even today with each and every one of us. Vayikra. Were you not called? Moshe, Don, Mikael, Sigler, Beth, all of us were called. The Winfield, David, we were called by the Creator. Because if not, none of us would be sitting here today. None of us would have sat in these seats. Rabbi spoke about it a couple of weeks ago. He said, these seats don't have to be full because it's not necessary for each one of these seats to be full. We are getting the call. That word, Vayikra, comes again. Creation, out of nothing, came the purpose to the unknown. That's why when Adam, he didn't know the woman, because what did he do? He didn't have a helpmeet. He knew the animals, he knew everything else. But when God showed him this woman, he said, oh, Vayikra, I'm going to call her Abba. All of life is lived in the pause between Vayikra and Vayidabed. We are all summoned by the voice of the one God. Each and every one of us has been summoned. Don't take it lightly, because when we start speaking our language, don't give up, because this is ours. It's our language. This is our Torah. When I spoke last night, I asked the individual, why do they think that the Most High God told us to sacrifice a young calf? Why do you think he told them to sacrifice this calf? They were coming out of Egypt. And coming out of Egypt, what was the main god of Egypt? We read about it in Kitazet. What did we read about? The golden calf. They looked at this as a god. So he had to diminish that aspect of what they felt like, what they thought of about this particular God. And as we continue to move forward, the Most High God eliminated this aspect of idolatry, because here again it says we are always summoned by the voice of the Most High God. And the ancient voice in each and every one of us, in each and every one of us, we are called by the Most High, by Vayikra. The question is, are you ready to hear? Are you ready to hear that call? Some of us are, because look where we are here. It might be a little chilly. That's right, hold it tight. Keep it warm. Because today is the day that the Creator made. Are you ready to hear Vayikra and Daber and then follow, or do we remain in the pause between the two? Before creation, before the dedication, before seeking, there is love of the Creator. When he brought Abraham out of Ur of Kasdim, he loved Abraham. He told Abraham. It took 40 years